Hey guys, welcome to today's video. This is the third video in the short series that I'm doing, just called like web hacking, getting started in bug bounty. Today's video is about cross-site scripting. You'll also see this as XSS. Again, I'm using the same website that I've used in the last two videos. I will drop a link in the description to this video series for you guys to try. If you haven't seen the first two videos, be sure to go back and watch those. It covers some really good steps as far as IDOR and using your developer tools to look for broken access control with some manipulation and using JavaScript to change the attributes on certain buttons and stuff, like an HTML attributes. So let's go ahead and jump in, and we'll talk about this cross-site scripting. It says choose to inject malicious scripts into a vulnerable web page. We'll go ahead and start lab like we did in the last couple videos. So what is XSS? Cross-site scripting occurs when an application includes untrusted data in a web page without proper sanitization. An attacker can inject HTML and JavaScript code that executes in the victim's browser. An example would be an attacker sends a link to a victim. When the victim clicks it, the attacker's JavaScript runs in the victim's browser, stealing their session token. If you're kind of new to bug bounty, web app hack, anything like that, session token probably doesn't mean anything to you right now. But with session tokens, you can take over somebody's login and things on a website. So say you log into maybe your bank website or something like walmart.com or whatever you're logging into, you get a session cookie. If I can get your session cookie, I can go log into that same website with your session cookie and essentially become you on that active login. So of course this would be bad because I could make orders and charges, whatever I need to do to kind of benefit me as an attacker, but could definitely ruin your day. So our mission in this is to generate credentials to establish a session, which is a cookie is set. Find the search functionality. Notice the query is in the URL. Craft a search query that injects a H1 tag. H1 is just the header one. That's the biggest header you can make for like a website if you're familiar with HTML. And then note that your HTML is being displayed. So we'll do the H1 first, just to kind of make sure that the cross-site scripting exploit actually does exist. And then we're going to craft an alert script that we're going to run that will print a word in alert box and will also give me your session cookie so that I could use it if I want to take over your browser session. So like the other videos, we have a report tab. This is where you're going to report your findings, steps to reproduce it, where the exploit actually lives, and you'll see here it says it wants to enter the XSS exploit URL that alerts the word pond, and the session cookie that you pull from your login. You'll see observe that the alert box appears displaying pond, and the session cookie is passed as the second argument and visible in the console. So what that's saying is where we're able to see the session cookie for us to steal it. And then the impact of this: attacker can craft a malicious link that, when visited by an authenticated user, executes arbitrary JavaScript in their browser, enables session hijacking, which is what I'm saying by stealing like your document, your session token, your cookie, performing actions on behalf of the victim, or redirecting them to a phishing page. Since the session token is accessible to JavaScript, not HTTP only, full account takeover is achievable. Like I said, guys, this is where we would take over like maybe your Netflix, Walmart, Samsung, wherever you're logged into. We could essentially, just like I said, become you in that browser instance. All right, so let's go and start the lab. We'll open lab. Gives you a little note. Says log in and try searching. Notice the queue parameter in the URL. What happens if you put something unexpected in there? So let's open the lab. We'll generate our credentials, and you'll see we'll search notes. Let's just put just admin, just to get it started. Okay, so you'll notice here in the URL has the website search, !q, and then equals admin. So we want to manipulate what this q is equaling to see if we have cross-site scripting. So let's go ahead and do the h1 tag that we were talking about. So you're going to do less than h1 greater than symbol. This is just how you do a HTML tag. And let's do pwn, and then we're going to close this tag out. I'll do less than symbol / h1 and greater than. So if this works, you should see the word pwned in big letters on the screen as the result. So we'll hit enter. Boom. And you'll see that we have this here. Oh, and let's do inspect. And you'll see here in developer tools, it did indeed run it as an H1. Let me make this a little bigger here. But here you'll see our H1, pwned, H1. So it run our script of H1, which is the header 1, in order to print that to the screen. So we know we have cross-site script in here. Now, let's go to memory, performance, network, applications, and you'll see storage. We'll do local storage. Drop this down. Solved. Outdoors true. That's the two we've already solved. Let's do cookies. You'll see that we have an established session token. So it's under application, click on cookies. This was one from earlier from the broken access control from one of the other videos, but you see our session token is here, this value. So if I have this value, I can essentially take this to my own browser, go to this website, change my session token that was given to me to this session token, and I've now became you, the victim, and I have complete control over your account. So let me close this back out. So now we want to run a script that will cause an alert. And what an alert is like just a JavaScript box that'll have the words in it. And I want it to have the word, and I also want to have your cookie value so that I can go change it on like my session token in order to take over. So with this, what we're going to use is script and then the alert itself. Script is just a box, like if you want to run a script. Most of this is filtered out with input sanitization on most websites. Sometimes this gets missed, but 9 times out of 10 it's going to get popped, and you have to be creative to manipulate the word script so that it doesn't get picked up or filtered out and your script will run. So with this, we have script. You'll see the word alert. This is going to trigger a box to pop up. It's going to have the word pond in it, and also some pronounce it as pwned. Then we're going to ask for the document cookie. This is just the variable of the document.cookie, and then this is just closing the script. So what's going to happen when we run this, the box is going to pop up. It's going to say pwned, and it's going to have the document cookie there in the session as well. So if we click enter there, all right, you'll see that it popped up. It says it has pwned. This has broken access control session, which was from the other video that we done too. And then you're going to see our session token, which is here. So we'll click OK. We're going to go to the report. Now it's going to ask us to enter the exploit that we use, that alerted pwned, and the session cookie. So we'll just go back. We'll click the script that we ran. Copy this. Go back here. We'll paste that in. You'll see that this lab is now solved. So kind of simple once you learn how to run the alert box and stuff as well. Like I said, you will have to be able to manipulate that little as you learn more. There's sites that allows you to get these scripts kind of made free as well too, such as like Hack Tools, and I think Payload All the Things has this as well, if I remember correctly. So that lab is now solved, so we can finish up on this one, get started on the next series or on the next video. So be sure to check back for that. Thank you for watching.